If you would have told me 40 years ago when I watched History of the World Part One that, oh yeah, 40 years from now, you're going to go to the premiere and your parents are going to be there and Mel will be there and all this stuff, I would just be like, you're a crazy person.
How do you tell the difference between what's being funny on set and what will be funny in the theater?
It's a really, really good question. You can't always know. I like to think, if you're being very funny in the moment and the crew is laughing and the other actors are laughing, I think that is a pretty good indicator as to whether or not it's going to work on TV. But the opposite can be true. There's been times where I've laughed so hard at a scene and then gone to watch it. I'm like, it was much funnier in person. I think for this, we really took a lot of time to write it. And we had great directors and we also had such a great cast that in post watching it, you're finding all these little small things that you didn't even know were happening.
Talking about the cast, everyone is in this.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Is there anyone who wasn't able to come in?
Everyone we asked said either yes or they were unavailable. They were like out of town. Like there was no one that was like, no, thanks. Just because if you're calling someone and you're like, especially people who are in comedy, and you're like, do you want to spend 3 days working on a Mel Brooks production? Their answer is yes.
Is there a lot of extra footage that might get released in a longer version or something like that, you think?
There might be maybe a couple little things. I mean, there's definitely much, much longer versions of the sketches. Like the Beatles stuff we shot, that could be an entire episode, the Beatles stuff. But we had written a lot of stuff that we didn't shoot. And that to me is like, oh, what's that? Do I hear season 2?